Yo, what's good YouTube? I'm going to be doing a tier list today for Plague's add-ons. This was by request, so thank you so much for the request. It's been something I've been meaning to do for a while now. I just want to get some more hours under my belt. A little bit of context about who I am. My name is Fox. I'm a Plague main. I have about 400 hours into Plague so far. I'm top 30 on the Steam leaderboard. It doesn't really mean anything, but I play Plague a good amount. Just setting up a general premise before I begin. I'm going to be going over these add-ons based on their strength and also how fun they are to play. So those two factors are kind of what I'm looking for here. How strong are they? How do they affect your base kit? And number two is how fun are they to play? Because we're playing a game, right? It should be fun. First up is the Prayer Tablet Fragment. Now, this add-on is kind of like known as a meme add-on, but I think it's actually pretty viable. Definitely going to be changing Plague's playstyle if you do equip this, and it's usually paired well with Emetic Seal. Severed Toe is also a really good add-on to bring as well, because it'll basically instantly break anybody who's working on a gen that's, you know, infected. That being said, it's not my favorite playstyle. Obviously, if you combine the Prayer Tablet Fragment with maybe something like Olibanum Eruption, it can be pretty nasty. You can stall a game for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, you know, however long you want to play DBD, you can spend that much time in the match with those survivors. That being said, though, you don't get to throw up on survivors directly, and you kind of have to wait for them to interact with an object. Makes it not as fun for me, so I'm going to put this in the D category. Next up, we got the Olibanum Incense. I think this add-on is actually really good and really underrated. Very good for beginner plagues. It allows you to see the aura of survivors who cleanse at fountains for 4 seconds. You can extend that time with Lethal Pursuer, but it's just really good to have, because even for myself, with the time I've spent playing Plague, sometimes a cleanse will happen during a whole bunch of action, and I don't get to see where that pool got corrupted. That being said, it's at least in the C tier for me. It's obviously not a game-changing add-on, which is why it's a brown, but information is always good on Plague, and I think in the C category is where Olibanum Incense belongs. All right, we have the Limestone Seal. So this one gives you, I think, 20 seconds of duration object infection. So if you throw up on a generator, the base infection times 40 seconds. With this add-on, you get an additional 20 seconds, so it's a full minute. Yeah, 20 seconds might seem like a long time, but it's actually not. By the time you throw up on 4 gens, for example, by the time you get back to the original gen that you infected, most of the time that's a minute plus, because you've gotten into a chase or something like that. So it doesn't really have a long-lasting effect. The base infection is 40 seconds, and this one will make it a minute. For the Hematite Seal, which is one step up, you can get 30 seconds of infection, which is way better. And most of the time, you have access to the Hematite Seal as often as you do with the Limestone Seal. So I wouldn't see why you would run Limestone Seal over Hematite Seal. It's okay. It's all right. All right. Now the Healing Salve. This one reduces the cooldown after you throw up or purge on somebody. And 0.25 seconds, again, it might not seem like a long time, but it's actually quite good. And I think this, usually stacked up with the Potent Tincture, can reduce your cooldown by, I think, 0.65 seconds. Pretty big if you stack those two add-ons together. Standalone, however, you're probably not going to notice this too much. Maybe if you're throwing up on a survivor heading to the window, that last 0.25 seconds, your animation cancels and you're able to M1, then sure, you got value, but I don't really find yourself doing that too often. So I think it does belong in, man, I want to say the D tier, but it's a bit unfair. I think standalone, it's in D tier. Combined with Potent Tincture, it's probably in the C tier. So I'm going to go with D tier. All right, next up, we have the Prophylactic Amulet. This is a very interesting add-on. It reduces the amount of pools in the game by 2. Base pools in the map for every single map will be 6. With this add-on, you now have 4. Again, if you combine it with certain add-ons like the Blessed Apple, this could be very interesting. It's got to be in the right build too. It's very situational. It is kind of slept on because sometimes you get a map with bad RNG, and the pools are out in Narnia. Like, you can go on Swamp and one of your pools will be all the way in the outskirts of the map. If you get that unlucky RNG, that could be a defining factor in your game. With Prophylactic Amulet, that can kind of reduce your odds 30% of getting a good pool. So I think it belongs in the C tier, standalone at least. If it's combined in a really good build, you could get even more value from it, and it can maybe spike up to the B tier. But standalone, I think it's in the C tier. After that, we have the Potent Tincture. I think this definitely belongs in the B category. Again, with the numbers that you see, 0.4 seconds of reduced fatigue time, essentially what it is, reduced cooldown time after you do either purge. It adds up. You can definitely tell a difference with this add-on, and there's many times and many many games where I've had this add-on equipped, fully thrown up on Survivor, broke them just as they reached a pallet and was able to basic attack. And without this add-on, I wouldn't have been able to do so. So I really like this add-on. Definitely belongs in the B tier. All right, and so as we were mentioning earlier, the Limestone Seal, there's no reason why you wouldn't go with Hematite Seal. You actually can't go wrong with running this. If you don't know what else to run on Plague, you're like, oh, I don't know what to run. You can't go wrong by just running this. 30 seconds of additional infection time, just enough to bump up Plague's base kit. I mean, if you think about it, 40 seconds of base infection time, if you add another 30 seconds to it, that is 175% of what you normally get. This will prevent survivors from just waiting around for a corrupt purge or an object to be uninfected. This will keep the generators infected forever. You can also infect totems, chests, you name it. This equipped with other add-ons can also be very strong. Very solid B tier. I don't think it's oppressive enough to be in the A tier. Fun factor wise, it doesn't really provide too much fun, but it allows people to be one shot, and that's fun. The Emetic Potion. So this will increase the effectiveness of your Vile Purge by 30%. I think it's very strong. Obviously, being able to find someone in an open area, throw up on them, and break them 30% faster, it's a big difference. It's huge. Without this add-on, a survivor could make it to a pallet, make it to a window. With a potion, if you throw up on them 75% of your full Vile Purge meter, they're going to be broken and you can just instantly slap them down. So I really like this add-on. Do I find myself running it more than Infected Emetic? Sometimes I run them both. Again, it's very situational, but this is kind of like Hematite Seal, where if you don't know what to run add-on wise for Plague, it's hard to go wrong with the Emetic Potion. Oh, now we're getting to the good stuff. The Blessed Apple. This has got to go in A tier. I think the Blessed Apple giving you a fountain that's already corrupted is super nice, especially if you have bad RNG. A lot of your matches with Plague will be based on RNG and will be based on the map that you get. So I really like the Blessed Apple because it gives you more flexibility, right? If you know that survivors are working together, let's say you're running Discordance and you have a pool that's near your disposal or near that generator, you can grab the Blessed Apple and get a ton of value from one corrupt purge. Having options or having, more than one fountain corrupted at the beginning of the match gives you more flexibility. It'll basically just, allow you to grab a pool early or maybe grab it later in a chase. So definitely belongs in the A tier. Also, guys, real quick before I move into the green add-ons and above, I just want to say, if you're not subscribed to the channel already, if you could please hit subscribe, it would really help me out. It keeps me motivated. Comment on the video, like the video. If you have any ideas on another video that you think would be good for me to cover, let me know, because I love recording content for you, and I'm trying to build a community here on YouTube. So if you could hit subscribe, I would appreciate it so much. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of the tier list. We got the green add-on, Apple, Blessed Apple. You know what? This might have to go into the S tier. I think having a green apple is just so nice. Having 7 pools on the map and 1 corrupted fountain to begin with is just a godsend. Sometimes if you get those teams who do cleanse against you and they're trying to rapidly reset you, the moment that 1 or 2 people cleanse from a fountain and you have the Blessed Apple, when Super Smash Brothers, when you grab the hammer and say, yeah, essentially that's what it is all match long, because you're going to be drinking from fountain, and there's no way they can reset you. So a beautiful add-on, love to run it, and you should too. Exorcism Amulet. So another 10 seconds to your corrupt purge. I don't find myself running this one too often. I mean, obviously having a longer corrupt purge time is nice, but would I necessarily choose it over these other add-ons? Not necessarily. I think this is nice here in the B tier. It's solid because, there are times where I'm just running out of my corrupt purge and I'm chasing a survivor and I could really use that corrupt purge distance to get it down, but my purge runs out. Having the Exorcism Amulet could be very nice in terms of getting it down versus, without it, where I don't and I have to go and M1 them and they can extend a chase. Maybe they have a dead heart or something. Again, it's just a nice little enhancement to the base kit of when you get your corrupt purge, but not the greatest. Actually, I want to put this in C tier, to be honest with you. Ooh, this is a very interesting add-on. The Incensed Ointment. I kind of like this one. I'm not going to lie to you. This one provides a lot of flexibility in your builds because you can definitely run perks like Infectious Fright and Distressing and make your terror radius bigger. And this perk will give you a ton of information in regards to where survivors are. Maybe you're in a chase. Maybe you're running a gen kick perk where you see a generator that's pretty progressed. You want to kick it, but there's a survivor there as well. So situation is you kick the gen, you grab a pool that's nearby the kicked gen, and the survivor's location will be revealed to you. So it's kind of like you never left the chase with a survivor. You still got your gen kicked, and you know where to go with your deadly corrupt purge because the survivor is going to scream and reveal their location. I like this perk a lot. I don't see a lot of plagues run it. Infected Emetic is very similar to the Emetic Potion. Now, I want to put it in the A tier. The thing is that when I do run this add-on, the tendency is you're going to only get value from it in the beginning of the match because survivors are not broken yet. When you find them, they haven't touched a gen yet. So you can throw up on them and break them super fast. I think maybe even 55-60% of your Vile Purge meter lands on the survivor and you have this add-on, they're going to be broken and they're going to die. But beyond that, once that happens to them, if they're smart, they'll realize that you have this add-on and they're just going to forego cleansing for the whole rest of the match. Now, it is nice for you to be a one-shot down killer, but some survivors are still good at looping, and they're still going to be able to run you on certain tiles because you're now an M1 killer. Do I see value from this the whole entire match? Typically, no, and that's the reason why it's preventing me from putting it in the A tier. Ooh, rubbing oil, I think, has got to be in the S tier. You can charge up your purge 50% faster. This can get you some hits if you're looping on a tile like Shack. If you're looping on a main building, you charge up your purge, and by the time it's gone, spewed away from your body, the survivor has already rounded the corner. With this add-on, you can charge the purge really, really fast, shoot out a ton of smaller shots, I guess you want us to call them.
I hop out, I start shooting. Bow, 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 bow.
Secure down's way easier. This one basically makes you a machine gun, and it's really freaking cool. Run it.
Dear Jesus, dear Jesus.
Next up, we got Worship Tablet. We're now in the very rare category. This one will allow you to drink from a pool much faster. I mean, it's like ridiculously fast. You just kind of blink and then you have your power ready to go. And then it allows you to, if you're holding down the purge at full volume, you're going to be moving at 114.71. But that being said, I don't find myself running this too often. I'm going to put it in the C tier, probably the top of the category. You know, most of the time when you're drinking from a fountain anyways, it's an extra second and a half. You probably don't have anybody around you. It's kind of situational because if you have somebody that you're in chase with and then a pool is nearby, then you'll get value. But most of the time, you've got 6 pools on the map and the odds of them looping you around one of your pools is pretty low. And by that time, even if you don't have Worship Tablet, you'll be fine anyways. I don't like to hold down my purge either, which is why I don't really find myself running this add-on. Most of the time I'm doing shorter bursts, trying to get, you know, some shots or some snipes or something like that. So it's going to be in the C tier for me. Again, it's all subjective. So although it's a rare add-on, I don't think it's the best. Next up, we got Devotee's Amulet. I think this one definitely belongs in the A tier. 20 seconds of added corrupt purge time. This is huge. You've got 60 seconds base. Another 20 seconds is, again, a 33% increase. Most of the time, if survivors want to play around your corrupt purge, they'll count sometimes. I've had survivors who actually count 60 seconds to make sure that my purge runs out. This can definitely catch them off guard, and this can allow you to shoot, even snowball a whole team with one corrupt purge and win you a match. That's how powerful it is. And even if you stack it with the other amulet here, I think it's the Exorcism Amulet. Yes, if you stack it with the Exorcism Amulet, you get another 30 seconds. So a whole 150% increase over your base. That's big. That's huge. Again, the ability to snowball with the amulet is really, the odds are greater with that. So definitely belongs in the A tier. We have the Severed Toe, which increases survivors' infection rate when they interact with objects by 50%. I think this definitely belongs in the A tier, if not high B, because by throwing up on a gen and a survivor basically touches it, they're going to be broken within, I don't know, 10 seconds of interacting with the gen. If you don't bother them, they're going to be fully infected. This goes for totems as well. If you're running like a totem build or something like that with like Thrill of the Hunt, maybe by the time the survivor's done cleansing a totem with Thrill of the Hunt on it, they'll definitely be fully infected and broken, and you can just one-shot them and maybe even interrupt that totem from being cleansed or booned. So very strong add-on, and rumor has it there is an added infection rate increase, kind of similar to what you see with the Emetic Potion and infected Emetic. I don't know. It's yet to be determined. I haven't tested it myself, but apparently you get a small increase by running this as well. At this current time, this is my favorite add-on to run on Plague, the Vile Emetic. The description of the Vile Emetic is it increases projectile speed of Vile Purge and Corrupt Purge by 10%. This essentially changes the trajectory of your puke. I love running Shadowborn on Plague. With this add-on, I feel like I can literally snipe from so far away. It opens the doors for so many cool shots. You obviously have to adjust yourself a little bit because sometimes it goes further than you want it to. So with this add-on, I kind of find myself having to aim my purge towards the ground in order to get normal hits. But try this out. This add-on is like, it's like Shadowborn, but in an add-on form. It's like crack. This totally transforms Plague. You can do a ton of cool sky shots like you've seen Forsaken do. I've done it a couple times on stream. I'm trying to still practice it. It's such a fun add-on. It changes Plague completely, and it just changes my mindset on how I go into a match. Now I can kind of maybe go for more fun shots. Maybe I can hit them over certain objects. It's just really fun. From the fun aspect alone, it belongs in the S tier. From the strength perspective, I'd probably say it belongs in high B. So it's S for me because it's super fun. All right, and this is going to be maybe controversial. I think this Iridescent Seal is very freaking strong. Like, no doubt. It is very, very strong. It does give you 20 seconds less of your corrupt purge time, which is pretty big. You only get 66% of what you normally get. So if you pair this up with Tinkerer, or maybe you stack it with Devotee's Amulet, yeah, it could be very, very strong, very good. If it's just standalone, that 20 seconds is a lot of time chopped off. So you're gonna have to be around where the generator gets completed to get maximum value out of this add-on. It's strong, but it's not S tier. Unlike this add-on here, the Black Incense. Obviously, I think this is probably got to be one of the strongest add-ons in the game, just on the sheer fact that you can see survivors through anything. You're having wall hacks. It's like wiretap for the killer, but all the time. Most of the time, the survivors don't even know you have this, unless they get a strong hunch that, okay, this Plague just mind gamed the hell out of me on something that was never supposed to be mind gameable. But again, that thought really goes through their mind. But if it does, then they're gonna start cleansing. And it's just a net win for you. If they don't cleanse, you get value. If they cleanse, you get value. And that's what a great add-on is, and that's what a great add-on does. So here's my tier list. I hope you enjoyed my opinions. If you have any differing opinions, let me know in the chat. Let me know which add-ons you enjoy and for what reason. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.